Today, we are stepping into a conversation that is rarely spoken aloud, yet one that affects so many women, often silently, sometimes painfully. Our discussion is titled, Pregnancy Fears and Trauma. Would my husband prefer younger girls with better figures after I have given birth multiple times? Imagine carrying life within you, feeling the miracle of each new heartbeat, each tiny movement, each new life you are bringing into the world. And then imagine standing in front of the mirror afterward, seeing the changes your body has undergone, stretch marks, softness, scars, and asking yourself, am I still the woman he desires? Will he still see me as beautiful? For countless women, these are not abstract questions. They are real fears, lingering anxieties that can affect intimacy, confidence, and emotional well-being. They are fears born not from malice, but from the deeply human need to be seen, wanted, and loved even as our bodies change through motherhood. Today, we are fortunate to hear from a courageous woman who has faced these fears head-on. She brings her personal experience, her insight, and her voice to this session, not only to illuminate these challenges, but also to offer hope, understanding, and guidance to women navigating similar journeys. She will help us understand the emotional terrain of post-pregnancy insecurity, the impact of self-doubt on relationships, and how women can reclaim their confidence, desire, and sense of self even after multiple pregnancies. And now, before we listen to her lovely and heartfelt story, please, if you have not subscribed to this channel now, leave whatever you're doing right now and like, share, subscribe, and comment on this channel to enable us get feedback from you and improve our communication and interaction with you as we prepares our subsequent episodes. Please press the subscription button now. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our resource person, Sarah Bush, as she shares her invaluable experiences and insights on this deeply personal and transformative topic.
I stand in front of the mirror longer than I should, as if time might soften what I'm about to see. The room is quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that makes my thoughts louder. I lift my shirt slowly, almost apologetically, and the woman staring back at me feels like a stranger who knows all my secrets. My body tells stories I never asked to remember this vividly. Stretch marks run across my stomach like delicate cracks in porcelain. Proof of life, they say. Softness settles where firmness once lived. Scars whisper of pain endured, and strength summoned when I had none left. Everyone calls them beautiful, calls them evidence of sacrifice and love. But tonight, all I can see is what has changed, and what I fear I have lost. I touch my stomach and flinch, not from pain, but from memory. Each pregnancy took something from me before it gave me anything back. My body expanded to hold life, then shrank unevenly, never quite returning to where it began. I carried our children proudly, painfully, willingly, yet no one prepared me for the way I would feel afterward, like a house that had been lived in too hard, too long, and then quietly left behind. I look at my face next, the tired eyes, the faint lines that weren't there before. I wonder when he started seeing them. I wonder when he stopped looking at me the way he used to, like I was something to be desired, not just relied upon. My husband tells me I'm fine. He says I'm beautiful. His words float toward me, gentle but distant, like echoes in a large, empty room. They don't land where I need them to, because beauty, when it's spoken without touch, without hunger, without presence, feels like politeness, obligation, a kindness offered out of duty, not desire. I replay moments in my mind, how he used to look at me without realizing it, how his hands once lingered as if he couldn't get enough. Now his touch feels careful, brief, distracted. I tell myself I'm imagining it. I tell myself I'm insecure. But insecurity doesn't come from nowhere. It grows when something essential is missing. I ask the mirror the question I'm too afraid to ask him. Do you still want me? The mirror doesn't answer. It never does. Instead, it reflects every fear I carry quietly, that my body has become a reminder of responsibility rather than attraction, that motherhood, while it gave me purpose, quietly stripped me of womanhood in his eyes, that somewhere out there are younger women with tighter skin and untouched bodies, women who don't carry stretch marks or exhaustion in their bones, women who remind him of a time before sacrifices piled up. I hate myself for thinking this way. I hate the jealousy, the comparison, the constant measuring of my worth against bodies that haven't known childbirth the way mine has. But the fear sits heavy in my chest, refusing to be reasoned with. Fear doesn't listen to logic. Fear listens only to absence. What hurts most isn't just the change in my body, it's the loneliness that followed it. I feel unseen, unchosen, as if the part of me that once made him want me has quietly faded, and I'm the only one who noticed the funeral. I didn't lose myself all at once. I lost myself in pieces, during sleepless nights, during recoveries that no one clapped for, during moments when my needs were postponed indefinitely. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like a woman and started feeling like a function, a role, a responsibility. Standing there, half-dressed and trembling with thoughts I never say out loud, I feel abandoned in a marriage where no one has technically left. That kind of abandonment is the hardest to explain. He's still here, still present, still my husband, but the distance between us feels vast, carved out by unspoken fears and unanswered questions. I press my palm against the mirror, as if reaching for the woman I used to be. I don't know if she's gone forever or just buried under doubt and disappointment. All I know is that I miss her, and I'm terrified that my husband does too. I lower my shirt and turn away, carrying the weight of rejection I cannot prove but cannot escape. The mirror stays behind, holding my reflection hostage, silent as always. And I walk back into my life wondering when love began to feel like something I had to earn again. Some days, I avoid the mirror entirely. Other days, like this one, I stand in front of it as if it owes me an explanation, as if at any moment it might soften its honesty and return the woman I remember. I don't rush. I never do. Rushing would mean pretending this doesn't hurt. The light is unkind. It settles into every curve and hollow, revealing changes I didn't ask for, but was told to accept with gratitude. I try to breathe steadily as I study myself, the way a stranger might, detached, careful, critical. My body looks like it has lived many lives, and in a way, it has. Each pregnancy stretching me open, not just physically, but emotionally too, until I wasn't sure where I ended and sacrifice began. I remember how proud I once felt of this body, how effortlessly I wore clothes, how confidently I moved, how natural it felt to be seen. Back then, being desired wasn't something I questioned, it was something I assumed. His eyes told me everything I needed to know. They lingered, they spoke, they wanted. Now I look for the same confirmation and find myself grasping at fragments. A compliment here, a quick touch there. Nothing sustained, nothing that makes me feel chosen. I trace a stretch mark with my finger, following its uneven path across my skin. People call them tiger stripes, symbols of strength and motherhood. I wish the words made them feel lighter. To me, they feel like evidence, evidence of how much I gave and how little of myself I recognize now. I carried our children here. I labored, I bled, I healed. I did everything I was supposed to do. So why do I feel like I failed at the one thing that mattered most, remaining desirable? Sometimes I wonder if my husband notices these marks the way I do, or worse, if he notices them and chooses not to look too closely. His silence frightens me more than cruelty ever could. If he criticized me, I could fight back, I could argue, but indifference leaves no place to stand. He doesn't reject me outright. That would almost be easier. Instead, he withdraws in ways subtle enough to deny, but consistent enough to wound. He's tired, he's stressed, he's busy, aren't we all? Yet somehow it feels like intimacy became optional only after my body changed. I replay conversations in my head, searching for clues. Did I imagine the distance? Did motherhood make me too sensitive, too needy, too insecure? Or did pregnancy quietly move me from the center of his desire to the background of his life? There are nights I lie beside him, inches away, yet impossibly far, wondering if he's comparing me to someone else, someone younger, firmer, untouched by childbirth. The thought arrives uninvited, but once it settles, it refuses to leave. I hate myself for thinking this way, hate the jealousy, the comparison, the constant measuring of my worth against bodies that haven't known childbirth the way mine has. But the fear sits heavy in my chest, refusing to be reasoned with. Fear doesn't listen to logic. Fear listens only to absence. What hurts most isn't just the change in my body, it's the loneliness that followed it. I feel unseen, unchosen, as if the part of me that once made him want me has quietly faded, and I'm the only one who noticed the funeral. I didn't lose myself all at once. I lost myself in pieces, during sleepless nights, during recoveries that no one clapped for, during moments when my needs were postponed indefinitely. Somewhere along the way, I stopped feeling like a woman and started feeling like a function, a role, a responsibility. Standing there, half-dressed and trembling with thoughts I never say out loud, I feel abandoned in a marriage where no one has technically left. That kind of abandonment is the hardest to explain. He's still here, still present, still my husband, but the distance between us feels vast, carved out by unspoken fears and unanswered questions. I press my palm against the mirror, as if reaching for the woman I used to be. I don't know if she's gone forever or just buried under doubt and disappointment. All I know is that I miss her, and I'm terrified that my husband does too. I lower my shirt and turn away, carrying the weight of rejection I cannot prove but cannot escape. The mirror stays behind, holding my reflection hostage, silent as always. And I walk back in. There was a time when loving him felt natural, unforced, like breathing. I didn't have to wonder where I stood with him or question what he saw when he looked at me. His desire was loud then, obvious in ways that didn't need explaining. His hands found me without hesitation. His eyes lingered as if memorizing me. I never doubted that I was enough. Back then, my body didn't feel like something I had to defend or justify. I wore clothes without calculating angles or shadows. I laughed freely, moved freely, existed freely. When he touched me, I didn't stiffen with fear or anticipation of disappointment. I melted. I trusted that his touch meant want, not habit. I remember how he used to look at me, like I was the answer to a question he had been asking his whole life. The way his gaze softened, the way he smiled before he even realized he was smiling. I didn't have to compete with silence or distance. I didn't have to ask for reassurance. Love spoke for itself. Now those memories feel fragile, like photographs left too long in the sun, fading at the edges, losing their certainty. I replay them often, wondering if they were real or if I only remember them that way because I need to believe they existed. I cling to them because they are proof that I was once wanted without conditions. Sometimes I ask myself a question that hurts more than I admit. Is that the woman he fell in love with? Not me, but her. The version of me before pregnancies stretched my body and exhaustion reshaped my spirit. The woman who hadn't yet learned to doubt herself. The woman whose body hadn't been asked to give and give until it no longer felt like her own. Each pregnancy felt like a quiet negotiation I never agreed to. I gave my body to motherhood, trusting that love would remain untouched. But no one warned me that while my love grew deeper, my confidence would shrink. That while my heart expanded, my sense of worth would fracture. I wonder when love stopped being effortless and became something fragile, something I felt I had to earn again. Was it gradual, slipping away unnoticed? Or was there a moment, one glance, one hesitation, when something shifted and never fully returned? He doesn't say he loves me less, he doesn't say he wants someone else, but absence has a language of its own. It speaks in the way he no longer reaches for me instinctively, in how intimacy feels scheduled rather than spontaneous, in how I feel like a memory instead of a desire. I miss being wanted without needing to prove anything. Now I feel like my body is under quiet review, measured against an invisible standard I no longer meet. I feel as though love comes with a silent comparison to who I was, to who I'm not anymore, to women whose bodies haven't been altered by childbirth and sacrifice. The hardest part is not knowing whether this distance exists only in my mind or whether my fear is simply naming a truth he's too kind or too tired to say out loud. That uncertainty gnaws at me. It turns small moments into evidence, silence into rejection, space into abandonment. I lie beside him some nights, close enough to feel his warmth, but far enough to feel alone. I want to ask him if he still sees me as a woman, not just a partner in responsibility, not just the mother of his children, but the fear of confirming my worst thoughts keeps the question locked inside me. Because what if the love I remember was tied to a body I no longer have? What if childbirth didn't just change me, but quietly changed how he sees me too? That thought follows me everywhere. It turns nostalgia into grief. It makes the past feel safer than the present. When I remember when love felt effortless, it's not just longing, it's mourning. Mourning the ease, the certainty, the confidence I once had in his desire and in myself. And as I hold on to those memories, I can't help but feel like I've been left behind, not abandoned through action, but through evolution, like love moved forward and my body stayed behind, carrying the weight of everything it gave, while wondering if it gave too much. There was a time when loving him didn't require courage. It didn't require reassurance or explanation. It simply was. I didn't wake up wondering if I was still enough or fall asleep replaying moments for hidden meanings. Love lived in the ordinary then, in the way he reached for me without thinking, in the way his eyes searched for me in a room, in the certainty that I belonged exactly where I was. I remember how light my body felt, not because it was smaller or firmer, but because I wasn't constantly aware of it. I didn't negotiate with mirrors or brace myself before undressing. I didn't shrink my presence or apologize for taking up space. I existed without fear of being evaluated. His desire wrapped around me so naturally that I never imagined a day when I would doubt it. Back then, his touch felt like reassurance, not rushed, not distracted. It was deliberate, hungry, alive. When he held me, I didn't question whether he was remembering who I used to be instead of seeing who I was. I didn't wonder if I was competing with ghosts of youth or with women I'd never meet. I felt chosen, completely and without reservation. Sometimes I wonder if I took that certainty for granted. Or maybe certainty isn't something you protect, it's something you assume will stay because it always has. I didn't know how fragile it was until it began to slip away. Pregnancy changed everything slowly, quietly. Each time my body grew, my confidence shrank just a little. Each time I gave birth, I lost something unnamed, a softness in how I viewed myself, an innocence about being desired without consequence. I was praised for being strong.